Hi, I'm Danielle Bassoni. Summer is upon us, so it's time to talk about mangoes. I've had several requests from friends lately for me to show them how to cut a mango, so that's what we're going to do today. First, I want to show you some different types of mangoes. This is called a Hayden mango, and this mango is large. It's sweet, but it's also very fibrous. It comes in different colors. You can see this one is largely red with some green and yellow on it. This one's mostly orange, and this one is green and red. And these mangoes come from Florida. This is a Mexican mango. This is called a champagne mango. It's also called an Ataulfo mango or an Adolfo mango, and it also comes by other different names. But this is a sweeter mango. It's smaller. It kind of is shaped like an apostrophe. That's how I like to describe it. And you know when it's ripe when the skin becomes quite wrinkled. If you look at this, the difference between these two mangoes, this one is just beginning to wrinkle, and I would not cut this one yet, but this one's quite wrinkled, so I can be fairly certain that this one is ready. Now the Hayden mangoes, if you wait until the Hayden mangoes are very wrinkled like the champagne mangoes, it's likely to be overripe. So the way you tell whether or not a Hayden mango is ripe is by smelling it. If it has a very sweet, strong, delicious smell, then you know it's ready. If it's barely suggestive of sweetness, then it's far from being ready. This one is not ready. This one's getting close. And I'm not sure if this one is ready. We'll go ahead and cut it. It could be a little sweeter, but it's the closest to being ripe that I have, so I'm going to cut it anyway, just so that you can see the technique. So the way we'll do this, we'll start with this little mango, and you don't have to pull that off. I just did that. The important thing about mangoes is that there's a big seed inside. And there are a lot of ways of cutting a mango, but to me this is the easiest and the cleanest. And if you look, that this is the large flat side, and this is a very narrow side, and it's true of this one as well. It's got a wide side and a narrow side. So if you start at the stem on the top and cut along the narrow side, you'll be cutting right around the edge, the side of the seed. So I can feel the seed in there, and my knife is just following around the side of it, around the side of the seed. Okay. And you'll have to judge where that seed is by feel. And there you have it. And this is the seed. We'll go ahead and cut it out. We'll do the same thing, only it's open now. And there you have it. This can be discarded. You can cut off this piece if you want to, and add this to your, or you can just eat it. I think of this as the chef's prerogative, and after I've finished cutting mangoes, I nibble this off of the sides. Okay, so to cut this is the way I like to do it, and I switched to a larger knife here, because I like to be able to get off the side of the board. And I cut this downward like this into small pieces, because this makes it easier to work with. And then I put the knife right along the edge. I see this little white fibrous part, so I want to avoid that, so I'm going to go over that. And that's how I do it. And it just slides right off. And that's just a little piece of a fibrous piece that's a little, has, you know, it's a little bit too grainy to eat. A little woody to eat. You can also go ahead and get that last little piece off too. Another way to cut mangoes that's very popular, but I find it very messy, is to slice it this way, and then slice it this way, and then pop it out, and then children just eat it straight away with their mouths. But I find that that's, for cooking purposes or culinary purposes, I find that's a little more trouble than it's worth. I may show you that on another mango. I didn't get that one quite low enough. So you can get it all the way to the skin if you're paying attention. It's another little woody fibrous piece. Okay, so it's as easy as that. Then you can chop them up however you want to. You can put these in salads. You can put them in soups. You can use them, of course you can eat them raw. You can make salsas with it. I'm going to make this piece a little smaller. So now we're going to start with the Hayden mango. Again, this is the wide side and this is the narrow side. And I'm not really sure if this is completely ready. It smells very good, but it feels like it could go another day or so. But just in the interest of showing you how to do it, I'm going to go ahead and cut it. So we start at the top, we go down the narrow side, following the contour of the seed. Oh, there we have it. This is a beautiful mango. It could have gone another day or so that it's all very, very ripe, but this is perfectly acceptable. So we have a little excess here we can cut off and use that. You can nibble on this later when nobody's looking. And now I'm going to go to my larger knife just to make sure it gets off the board. And I'm going to cut it into slices, manageable slices. And I like to cut it like this because I like to tilt this and cut it straight down, so that it gives you these nice big slices that are easy to separate from the skin. And so we slip the knife under, hold on to the end, and just, there you go. So there's very little waste when you cut mangoes this way. I want to show you another way that people cut them. But I don't like to cut it that way, but I'll just show you can. Excuse me. Is to cut it like this. Cut all the way down to the skin in whatever size cube you want. pop it out like this. And you can, children like to just eat it like this. But I find it's a little difficult it's more difficult and more messy to cut this off. But if you like to do it that way, you can. See, I'm losing. I have to go with a smaller knife. A friend of mine lived in Vietnam for a while, and this is the way she said that they did it. To me, it's way too much trouble. And it may be I just don't have that technique down. So I would never do this myself. Okay, and you waste a lot. To me, at least I do. Okay, so now you can take these pieces and you can cut them however you want. It also makes a much bigger mess. You can also divide it there if you think that chunk is going to be too big. These are wonderful to use in salsas. They're wonderful in fruit pies. You can also cut these strips of mango and put them in your dehydrator and dry them, and then add them with some fresh mango and in your food processor, and that will help to thicken a fruit pie. And it has a wonderful golden color, and it's very, very delicious. Of course, they're good in soups, they're good in cold soups, they're good on salads, and you can add them towards the end of a hot soup, but they will discolor when heat is added. Another thing you may want to consider is buying mangoes when they're cheap and readily available, and buy them in bulk, slice them up, and put them in the freezer for your smoothies in the winter, or drying them in your dehydrator for later use. These are wonderful ways to make use of the season and save you some money in the long run. So there you have it. I'm Danielle Bassoni reminding you to enjoy whole foods for whole health.